Good afternoon. I hope that you're doing well. It's Friday and I'm off from my apprenticeship today. I've been busy with it all week and I will be next week as well, but I have like a long weekend off and I'm going to be going to the seaside with my mum for a couple of days, which will be really lovely. And I just thought it would be nice to film since I don't have much time throughout the actual week to give you a bit of an update, especially on my knitting projects, because I've just finished a really exciting piece and I wanted to talk about it. I will be filming a knitting podcast episode on Monday if I get around to it, hopefully, but I wanted to talk about it right now before I actually go ahead and block this, because I just finished my polo neck top that I've been working on for the past, I think, about 5 weeks. And I was working on it throughout the whole last video, which I finished editing this morning, and so it felt fitting to actually share kind of the end of this journey since I shared so much of the process of it, and I'm so happy with it. I don't think I mentioned, but when you last saw this, I was working on the body, and I finished the body and it fit great, and then I ended up having like quite a lot of yarn left over from finishing the body, which I didn't think I would have. I thought I was playing a massive game of yarn chicken, and I realised when I was trying it on that I had yarn left over and I wasn't super happy with the fit of the sleeves because they were just sitting too high up. They were kind of about here, they were just too short for my liking, and I think they would have been okay if I didn't have extra yarn. I probably would have just left them, but or at least like I would have left them until I placed another Knitting for Olive yarn order, because I am sure to order more of this black like licorice merino anyways. But since I did have more yarn, I could just go ahead and fix it straight away, and I did. So this is what I've been working on practically all week. I've not had very much knitting time, just like half an hour to an hour in the evenings because I come home and I'm tired. So I've been making slow progress, but I undid the folded hem for both sleeves. I put the stitches back on the needles and then I added about like 3 centimeters, and then I redid all of the folded hem. And I'm so much happier with the length of the sleeves right now. I think they're probably still gonna grow a little bit with blocking because the shoulder area is looking a bit bunched up. Like it really looks like it's going to just relax a bit with blocking, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm so happy with the actual polo neck. I think it's so sweet. I don't yet have buttons for this. I'm on a mission to go and find them today because I have some errands to run anyways, but I think it'll look okay without them as well, like in the meantime. But since I did go through the trouble of making the double knit button band with actual buttonholes, I do want to put buttons in this to have like the option of it. But I didn't have any like small shirt type buttons that weren't white, and I want black buttons for this. And my local yarn store didn't have any that were small enough, so I'll try a different shop that's more of like a sewing haberdashery type of thing, and hopefully they will have them. But I'm so happy with this and I wanted to show it to you because I think like I'm so proud of it, and also it was knit on like fairly small needles. This is knit on 3mm needles, and then I used 2.5mm needles for the double knit collar and button band. And while that is kind of my favourite needle size to work on, to knit on, it is also a labour of love. It very much requires a lot of patience, and I think this was a really fun experience, but it also, like, I don't know, I'm really proud and I'm really happy with the finished result, and I cannot wait to wear it. So I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that it's like it's a warm day, but it's not scorching hot, and also it's like slightly breezy, so I think this is gonna dry really quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and block it, and I'm hoping it'll be dry by the time I leave tomorrow. We're not leaving early because my mum has work in the morning anyways, but I'm hoping it'll be dry by like lunchtime or so that I can actually wear it over the weekend, even though I think at the seaside it'll be too warm to actually wear it, but maybe in the evenings when we go out for dinner. We'll see, we'll see. I'm so happy with the fit of it. I think it looks so cute, and I just wanted to share it. And also I sort of impulse cast on something else this morning, because basically, like, other than this, projects that I currently have on the needles are still my Campanulity, which is still kind of around the same spot that it's been in for a while. I'm like, I think I've done 3 out of 7 body decreases, something like that, but I think I'm gonna make this long sleeved, so I'm not in too much of a rush to finish this. Even though I am feeling like working on it, this was just like, I felt like working on it all week, but this was just my number one priority because I knew that I wanted to fix this straight away before it could even have a chance to go into the I have to fix this, and I know it'll be annoying and I don't want to do it, but also I can't wear it, or like I don't want to wear it until it's actually properly fixed type of situation. I just wanted to get it done and over with, and I'm happy I did. So Campanula tee, which I'm probably going to get back to working on very soon. And then my Daphne dress as well, which I think last time I showed it to you, I had just finished the bodice, but I hadn't really started working on the sleeves yet. So I did the straps, I did the I-cord straps, and then I started working on the first sleeve. This dress has mohair sleeves, and it's my first time working with mohair, and contrasting opinions about it. Like, I think the finished result is looking so lovely. It's really fluffy, and I think it's looking really beautiful, like very ethereal. I think it's gonna give such a wonderful vibe to the dress. But I was working on this magic loop and the yarn broke a couple of times, not in the row that I was working on, but like further down, and so it was a bit of a mess to fix both times. And so I put it on hold for like a week, and I ordered 4mm 40cm cable needles, which is what I now have this on, and I worked a few rows on this last night. I don't think the 40mm like the 40cm cable needles are the most comfortable to work on, because they're shorter than the needles that you get on a longer cable, obviously, because they need to be able to work around a smaller circumference. I don't find them super comfortable on my hands. They're not as uncomfortable as like 9-inch circulars for socks, which I've tried once and I was like, immediate no, but also they're not the most comfortable. So these sleeves might take me a moment. But I really do want to finish the sleeves before I go on to knit the skirt, because I think that it'll be such a faff otherwise to just have so much fabric going around. And I think once I get into working the skirt, that'll be a really lovely stockinette project to have on the go. But it might be a while until I get to that, maybe like a couple of weeks. So in the meantime, I cast on another project. Last month I bought some knitting for Olive yarn to make some more camisoles. One ended up being this, the other my red mixed rip cami, and then I have 3 more colorways. I have the cloud, which is like a cream type of color, like an off-white type of color. I have more of the thunder cloud, which is the dark grey that I made my first mixed rip cami in, and then I have this, which is such a beautiful brown. I think it looks so lovely. And I don't have anything in brown, and this really called out to me, and I'm really curious and interested to see how this will fit in my wardrobe and whether I like it and I want more brown in my wardrobe. I don't know. I have just been thinking a lot about it over the past couple of days, and I was thinking about what I might like to make with this, because my first kind of idea, and the one that I was really thinking about, was the olive top by Knitting for Olive, which is like a really heavily textured, slightly lacy, I think, type of leaf pattern on a v-neck top. And then I kept looking at it, and the more I looked at it, the less convinced I was about knitting it in this colour specifically. I don't know what colour I would like to make that in, but I just felt like it wasn't the right fit, or like it wasn't the right thing that I wanted to knit in this moment with this colour specifically. And I ended up deciding that I want to knit this in just a simple rib pattern, and I decided instead to cast on the Y top by also Knitting for Olive, which is just like a negative ease v-neck ribbed cami. And I really did want to make this summer like a negative ease ribbed v-neck cami. I thought I was going to make it in black, and then I have not so far, but I think it'll be really beautiful in this colour. And so I've literally just cast on and worked 2 rows. But it's a bottom-up construction on 3mm needles, and it's going to be quite portable for the weekend, and I find 2x2 ribbing quite mindless to work on. Definitely more mindless than doing short rows with mohair or working on this mixed rib pattern. And so I think this will be a really nice, just portable project for the weekend, and it'll be like my mindless project going forward. It's not Socanet, but it's mindless enough. And I'm really curious to see how this turns out. And I think especially because it's bottom up, and so you cast on and then you just work the rib straight up until, I think it gives you like an amount of centimeters. I don't think it's until just below where you then split for body, for front and back, because it has a bit of shaping around the cups, but you still have quite a lot to just work straight on without thinking. So before you have to do like any shaping, any sort of thing. So that'll be really nice. So that's what I'm currently working on, and that's a little Friday update for you. I am now gonna go and block this, or well, leave it to soak while I get ready to go out, and then you know, put it out to dry, and hopefully I can update you tomorrow on how this blocked. Let's hope everything relaxes how I hope it does, and then I'll just be out running errands. And hopefully I get a little bit of time to draw before dinner, because I've not really drawn in a few days. I've been really busy just studying for my exams and then starting my apprenticeship, which I'm having a really good time with, but it's also just been really busy with everything. But I took my last exam for this session on Monday. We don't yet know how it went. The professor did say she was gonna get back to us with marks this week, and it's Friday, and we're all just, it was 8 of us taking the exam, and we were all just like, please, you know, just waiting. So hopefully they do actually come out today, but I'm done for the summer anyways, and I'm now starting to very slowly study for one of the exams that I will take in September. So that's my update for today. Good evening, quick update for Tuesday. I was at my apprenticeship today, so I've been out all day, but we came back from the seaside yesterday and I realised that I've not updated you yet on my progress on the white top, because yesterday evening I ended up having like a free hour. I had a really busy day, but I had a bit of free time and I ended up taking that to film a knitting podcast episode, so I've not updated this video yet. But as you can tell, my white top has grown substantially from where it was at when I last showed it to you, I think on Friday or Saturday morning, and I think it's going so well. It was really fun to work on. It was just very mindless, just 2x2 rib, and I had a lot of knitting time over the weekend, so this went by really quickly. I am now finished with the main portion of the body that is just ribbing, and now I've placed all of my markers and I worked just the first couple of rounds of the cup shaping, and then from there I think at some point you start the neckline shaping as well for the v-neck. But I just wanted to show you where I'm at with it, because there's quite a lot of progress and I'm really happy with it. And I also love the way that this colour is looking in the rib, and the way that this colour is looking knit up in general. I think is really lovely. I was a bit afraid when this arrived, because they have a couple of different yarn bases in this dark cognac colour, and it's a lot brighter in the merino than it is in this cotton merino, but I think it looks really good knit up and I think it's going to work okay with my hair. But I would like to maybe try the merino at some point as well. I think that it might be interesting to compare them as well. Anyways, just a quick update. I'm gonna go make myself dinner, and then hopefully I get a little bit of time before going to bed tonight. But I'm back in my apprenticeship tomorrow, so it's another early night and early wake up. So hoping to just finish that first part of the cup shaping, and also I might try. We'll see if I get to finishing that, but it's only like 10 or so rows, so it should be okay. I would like this week to at least finish one sleeve from my Daphne dress. I only have a couple of short row turns left on the first one, and then I need to knit for like 4 or 5 centimeters before I can decrease and bind off. So I'd like to do that this week as well, and then we'll see if I get any more progress on any other project. But that's the goal for the rest of the week. Had a couple of really intense knitting days, mostly because during the week when I'm at my apprenticeship I really don't get any time to knit. Like even in the evenings I just go to bed too early because I have to wake up too early and prep for the next day, and I don't get home until quite late, so there's really not much I'm able to do during those evenings. But I was off yesterday and then today's Saturday, so I have been making quite a lot of progress and I thought I would show you. I've continued working a little bit on the white top, but I've sort of put it on hold until tomorrow because we're going, hopefully, if the weather holds, we're going on a motorbike day out and we're gonna have a picnic in the mountains, and the aim is to just find like a field to lay down and have a picnic, and we can read and I can knit. And so I've put this on hold temporarily because this will be a really nice portable project to bring with me. But I have finished the first section of the cup shaping, which I think turned out really lovely. And now I'm working on the second section. You do a little bit of shaping at the sides before working the neckline. So that'll be my work cut out for tomorrow. And I'm almost at the end of my first ball of yarn. I have just a little bit left, and then I'll bring the second with me. This should take less than 2. It'll probably take like 1.5 really, which is good because I have 3. So if it takes about 75 grams of yarn, then I can use the other 75 to make another top, and that'll be really good. But in the meantime, so I worked a little bit on that yesterday morning, and then I put that aside, and I've picked my Daphne dress back up, and I've finished the first sleeve, and I've done the second, and then I've done the ruffle around the neckline, which you can't really see very well. I think you're probably gonna, it's gonna sit a lot better once it's blocked. And now I've gone ahead and I've picked up around the I-cord at the bottom of the bodice to start working the skirt. And I've really just about done a couple of rounds of that. I do still have to pick up from the I-cord, bind off from the sleeve, and knit the ruffle at the sleeve. The issue is that you bind off with 2 strands of mohair, and I need to pick back up with 4mm needles with 1 strand of mohair, and that is just not happening, I don't think. I would like to do that with a crochet hook, just because I think it's going to be a lot smoother and a lot neater, and I don't have one with me, so I will hold on to that and do it once I do have my crochet hook, which I've left in Turin, but I'll be back in Turin next week anyways, so I'm gonna do that then. But in the meantime, I've started working the skirt, and I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with the skirt, because I want to modify from the pattern a little bit, because I want a more like round, flowy sort of skirt. I want this to sort of give Selkie dress, and I've been pondering kind of 2 different options. The first one is going to be to not increase as much for the skirt, and then at a certain point bind off in I-cord, bind off, and add a second tier, like a 12 to 15 centimeter second tier, where I pick up from the I-cord and then I increase, so I double the number of stitches that I have, and so that kind of acts as a tall ruffle at the bottom. Or I could do some more increases in the skirts and already have a more of a round skirt, and then when I'm at the length that I like, I bind off in I-cord, bind off, and then I pick back up with mohair, and I knit a little mohair ruffle similar to what I have for kind of around the neckline and what will be around the sleeves. I think doing both of them together, so like 2 ruffle tiers, will be too much because this is going to be a short dress. I think it would look really good with like a midi length dress, but I'm making this short, and so I think doing both of them will be a bit too much. Like, I think once I've worked like 5 or 6 centimeters, I'll get a better idea of how this is actually going to look, and which, like, what kind of increase rate I really need to go with, because at the moment it's just really getting pulled in by the I-cord, and so I can't tell how wide what I've actually got on the needles at the moment is going to be. So once I've knit a little bit of that, because there's a picture in the pattern where you can very clearly see that after like 6 or 7 centimeters, the skirt really goes out, and there's no increases in that section anyways. So once I sort of get to that point, I'm probably going to work increases every like 6 to 8 centimeters anyways. I don't need to increase very dramatically. So I will do that, and then once I've worked a couple of increases, I will try the dress on and see how I feel about it and sort of assess the situation. And then, I don't know, once it's a bit longer, I'll try it on again and see if I want to do the tall or ruffle or just the mohair ruffle at the bottom. So that's how that's going. I'm happy to put the mohair aside for a minute because it's not been stressful, but it's not as enjoyable to knit with as just like fuller yarn, I suppose. Especially because it's just one strand, I'm having to be a bit careful with it. This hasn't broken yet. Apart from that accent I had with doing magic loop for the sleeves, and doing the sleeves on a shorter cable has worked so much better. The second sleeve went by much quicker, but still I'm happy to be back to like regular yarn, so I can knit without looking, and it's just a lot smoother. And also it's been hot, so mohair isn't the most enjoyable to knit with in hot weather. It's been okay, but also, you know, happy to be working with some more slightly warm weather fibers. So that's my current update. I don't know if I'll talk again in the video, but I'll make sure to show you tomorrow what I end up working on. Hopefully I get to finish the top. We'll see, depending on like how much actual knitting time I get tomorrow, but I'm hoping to be able to finish the top because I really don't have that much left, especially because once I finish this section of shaping, which is another 6 rows I think, I will then essentially put the back on hold, and then you just bind that off with I-cord, I think, and start working the 2 front sections, and so that'll be a lot less knitting, like it won't be the whole circumference, so it should go by quicker as well. So that's my little update for a Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna go have a snack, make myself a cool drink because it's a gloomy but really hot and sticky day, and then I will have a little journaling catch up and study for a little while, and that'll be my afternoon.